Hey everybody, welcome to our VectorVest YouTube channel. Today we have a midday parlay. AMC put out earnings yesterday and guess what? It was a lot better than expected. So if you want to see what I found out, what AMC is doing to do a better job in being a better company, you sit right there. Hey everybody, Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Always love bringing these videos to you. Welcome to our VectorVest YouTube channel. If you're brand new to the channel, by all means, please hit the subscribe button. Help us to grow this channel. Hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted when new content like this comes out. And this is a midday parlay, a little bit of a smaller video that you can look at on your lunch hour and still go back to work. But most of all, if you like the content, don't forget to smash that like button. All right, with all of that, we know that AMC beat earnings. Let's go to my web stories. And first story, AMC Entertainment rises 7% pre-market on better than expected Q2 results. AMC Holdings is currently trading 7% higher in the pre-market. We're going to take a look at it real time in a moment. Following the better than expected second quarterly results, the movie theater company had on Monday reported a loss of 71% per share on revenues of $447 against the market estimate of losing 93 cents per share on revenues of $375. So you sit back and say, wait, they lost money. How are they still good? They lost less money than what the street expected. So let's go to my next story. AMC plans Bitcoin payments as revenues beat forecasts. This is big. More and more bigger companies are getting into that whole Bitcoin space. And Bitcoin has its ups, its downs, its ups and downs. But overall, more and more companies in the sidelines, behind the scenes, are getting into Bitcoin. And you know something? This could be a cool thing that they're going to accept Bitcoin payments as revenues by the end of the year. Now, here we go on Investors Business Daily. What is this?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Okay, then. I don't want to do this story anymore. It says AMC's beat meme stocks jumps as CEO hails a transformational quarter. Man, I don't want to do this. Let's go to my next story and let's go look at Yahoo. AMC revenue beats estimates. Shares up after hours after the movie theater company beat on top and bottom line for its second quarter. It gives the information again about how they beat. Now, interesting, AMC shares up more than 1,500% year to date. That's because it's a meme stock on Reddit. That's when it turned into a meme stock along with GameStop experiencing bouts of volatility since the beginning of the year. The company is taking advantage of its soaring stock prices by raising capital. A company's got to be able to raise capital, and they've been selling shares, and then they were going to sell some more shares and then came out and said, no, we're not going to sell anymore because people say you're diluting the company, diluting the shares. Listen, if you can raise money because they still have debt as compared to GME, they still have debt. If they can still sell shares to raise money, I think that that's a positive thing. But with the advent of being a meme stock, we raised yet another $1.25 billion in new equity, capital before commissions and fees in the quarter, boosting our quarter-ending liquidity to more than $2 billion, including cash and undrawn revolving lines of credit. So they've got money on hand. Even though they still are incurring some debt, they do have some cash on hands. Theaters have been welcoming moviegoers under the social distancing guidelines, but it's unclear if the impact of the Delta COVID variant will have an effect on the business. A relapse or stricter measures could hinder the industry's slow recovery. So I'm going to add a little thing in there because there's people getting vaccinated. I don't think that they get more into another lockdown again because of that, but that is left to be said and seen. So we'll see what's going on with that. Now, the whole idea of what's going on with GME and AMC is the short interest on it. So I did a little research. I wanted to see AMC Entertainment number of shares shorted, and it also showed me what the revenues were prior to right now, 1.28 billion. But look at 2018, 2019, where they had revenues of over $5 billion for 18 and 19. Of course, COVID 2020, it dropped. Now, we've grown from 2020 from 1.24 billion to 1.28 billion. That's not a huge growth, but they, again, beat on revenues. They've still got a long way to go. I know about Ape Nation and all of that, but you know something? This is part of VV Nation. VV Nation is all about all the stocks that are in the world or out there, except and not just looking at just the meme stocks. So I'm all on board with Ape Nation, but it's more so about the big picture, TBP. The big picture, where we look at giving information on stocks that are out there, not just on meme stocks, but that's important. Now, when I looked at that, the current AMC Entertainment number of shares shorted was 102 million. That's a lot of shares being shorted on the stock. Now, I went to Yahoo again just to see how many shares are outstanding. Shares outstanding, 513 million. And if this is showing 102 million shares being shorted, that's like 20% of the company, right? That's 20% of the shares being shorted, and that's a big number. So I went down, held by insiders, held by institutions. 23% of the company is held by institutions. Whether they're shorting or not, they're still held by institutions. Now, I did the math. I said about 20%. Right now, as of July, it says it was at 15.95%. This is a little bit delayed, all right? And short shares prior month in June shows 85 million shares. So the data that I showed on this is more up to date, showing 102 million shares being shorted. So all of this is not about the fundamentals, and I'm sure everyone out there knows that. It's not all about the fundamentals. It's about the thing that's being done, the overshorting, whether it's on AMC or GME, and the retail investor standing up against the hedge funds in regards to what's going on. They're not going to take it. They're not going to take it anymore.
We're not gonna take it anymore.
All right, so that's what this is really all about. And to see that AMC beat what the street thought that they were going to do is very promising. All right. Let's get into the stock that I'm going to look at, which is AMC, duh. All right, so now I'm looking at the VVC program with the earnings beat. Now we're looking at real time. It's up 6.71% today, trading at a price of $36 or so, which is a great thing. So I then extrapolated all of the data from this whole scenario, and I put what's going on. So here we go. AMC earnings and what it means. Well, they beat earnings. They were supposed to come in at 93 cents to the downside. They were only 71. So that's a growth over that. They beat revenues. They reported 444.7 million versus 375.28 million. That's a $69 million beat. That's no little task, all right? All theaters are open, and they're buying more theaters. They're putting more theaters out there so they can get moviegoers to go. Now, it's going to be interesting about the movies this year. Are they going to be really blockbuster movies? There's a lot of anticipation about some of these movies that are coming out as well. They will be accepting Bitcoin for payment by the year's end. Possible partnership with GME on the Bitcoin front. I'm going to do a little bit more research on that because you know that GME is doing the NFTs. I'm wondering, not only from a Bitcoin perspective, are they looking at doing the NFT? That's developing, and I'm going to take a look at that. Now, this is important too. Looking at Gary Gensler, of who now I follow on Twitter, SEC probe and regulations are in place. And I'm thinking that he's doing a sting on these companies in plain sight. Possible expediting the squeeze of the extreme shorting, also the failures to deliver. Also in there, daily margin calls are now in place. After Archegos got caught out there shorting a stock and then had to sell good stock to overcome that, now these companies who are really overshorting the stocks, daily margin calls are going to come into place, and it's already starting. That's the SEC getting involved as well. Officers of AMC will need to buy shares as part of their compensation based on how much they make. I think that that's great, that everybody's got to buy into the company. It's all in or you get out. And I think that that is awesome. part of their compensation. So guess what? They've got incentive to make the company do better so that they can make money on their options. Deals with the UFC, we talked about already. Replay of concerts. So concerts that are going to be live, they can now be played in the theater. Who would not love to go watch a concert in the theater where it's nice and air cooled and all that kind of stuff and still rock out? And with movie companies. So here's a statement. Chief Executive Officer Adam Aaron said on Monday the company struck a deal with AT&T's Warner Brothers to allow a 45-day theatrical window for movies before their streaming release from 2022, instilling some hope for ticket sales going ahead. So as movies are coming out, HBO Max is picking up all these movies real fast, which is going to affect the moviegoers. So now striking this deal will start to hopefully get more moviegoers to the theaters before they start to stream. So I think that's very important on their part to get more people to go to the movies. So with that, folks, that is my take on the AMC earnings. It was good overall. Let's see if it's enough to bolster it to get it back to the revenues that it was back in 2018, 2019, before the pandemic hit. They've grown since 2020, since the pandemic, but not by a lot. So it's going to be very important. Buying the more theaters, putting the movies out before they go on the stream is going to be very important to get more people out to the theater. So that's my take on the midday parlay on AMC earnings. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. And another thing, I want to get hashtag VVNation out to the world. In the comments, put your hashtag VVNation. It's not just about one thing. It's not about just the meme stocks. We do so much more than just meme stocks, but we include it. Folks, this video is over. Until the next time, see ya.